Hey everybody, this is Scott from RPGFan.com, and today we have a very special video. Uh, Recently, thanks to the people over at Square Enix, I had the opportunity to do an interview with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director, Naoki Hamaguchi. I was very honored to get to do this interview. We talked about a lot of things in the game, and I'm sure at this point you guys and gals have probably seen this on a few other videos. But I wanted to do an impressions piece from my perspective on this interview. Some things I may have privy to know that you may not, or it's hard to infer from the actual interview itself. Also, if you never got a chance to actually play the demo, some people have. So this video is going to be not that long, but it's going to look long because at the end I'm going to put on the gameplay breakdown that we did on Twitch last week. So if you're looking for the actual demo gameplay, my gameplay, you could check that out as I break it down, look at the material that was available, show some of the mechanics like the synergy abilities, the Junon area outside of Junon, obviously. But yeah, I wanted to go through this, and we're going to just go read through the interview. And like I said, at the end, you're going to see probably like an hour and a half of gameplay from our Twitch channel, which everyone can come join. We stream daily, twitch.tv/RPGFancom. Come join us. Lots of fun too. But let's get right into this. Let's talk about the interview. I'm going to read through it. Not much else to go by, but we'll start at the top and we'll scroll down. So to start off, I put this editor's note because there was some confusion. I don't think it was a translation issue. I don't think it was the question itself. I just think it got like confused, and it's hard sometimes when you are working through a translator to get your thoughts across or your question across. But luckily there was other people there to help me around, so we were able to get that across. But the good thing is my follow-up question really was, I wanted to know what boss or enemies were really hard to take from that portion of the game put into Rebirth 2. So it kind of worked out in the end. So my first question was, what character, new or returning, was the hardest to get into the Rebirth's combat system compared to the original game? And he answered the boss question first. I think it was about a materia guard. He says pretty much all the monsters and bosses are carefully crafted. Put effort into all of them. I would say the materia guard in the demo you get to play, while it does seem kind of similar to Guard Scorpion, and it does, by the way, it actually kind of almost feels almost the same. It's a lot better than the Guard Scorpion, and I'll explain that in a second. They're very different. So we made sure the gameplay experience for defeating enemies felt different, but very rewarding for an early boss fight. And to answer the question that I wanted to get across, he goes on to saying, regarding fitting the characters in the Rebirth, we seriously considered each of the roles and wanted to keep their balance within the game. And we also considered an overall image for the fans of the series may have towards the characters, so there are appropriate expectations for these. These are the things that we really took into consideration. For example, with Red 13, he's the kind of character that has a lot of close range attacks. We also wanted to differentiate from that from another character like Cloud, who could do the same thing. So Red 13 will have more of a timing-based attack system based on his ability to guard. This leads to his revenge mode ability that's specific to him and makes him unique. As for Katesith, we can't go into a lot of details at this point, but we did see the trailers of him riding into battle on a Moogle, which will come into play in battle. Whether he's riding the Moogle or not will make a difference in his playstyle during battle. His dice element will also be part of his attacks. So in a way, we kind of kept the elements of the characters that the fans love while making them balance with actions in battle. It's something we took into great care into doing. And this is true. We did get to play Red 13 in the demo. In fact, that was like one of the first things I did when I played that part of the demo, was switch to Red 13 because I wanted to see how he played. He's exactly as they described him. He's fast, he's quick, close range combat. But if you time your guard, you parry, because everybody has parry innate now instead of actually having to put the materia on. You can build up his vengeance mode and then use his vengeance mode, and then you can make him quicker, stronger, faster. It's very well what you would think of Red 13, which I've always thought, like, he's obviously an animal, so that's exactly what you expect from him. Big, quick, flashy attacks. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Katesith can do. Obviously, Katesith was not in the demo, but you know, it was nice of them to actually get a chance to talk about them, because I know they haven't really talked about that yet, but it was nice of them to do that stuff. Because I'm always curious about Katesith. That was actually where the question originated from, because in the original everybody except Kate Sith and Vincent have 8 limit breaks, right? So they have, even though they're all kind of almost the same-ish to an extent, they all have these 8 different limit breaks that kind of like make them unique or flashy or, you know, something that basically makes the character the character. Meanwhile, Kate Sith has slots and dice. That's it. And dice is explanatory. It's like, just throw the dice, you do damage. There's not much to it. And slots has a bunch of different effects, but it's not really Kate Sith doing the attacks. It's really just, you know, the effect happening, almost like a summon. So it must have been really hard for them to actually, you know, say, hey, we gotta find a way to make Kate Sith different or unique for this. So that's what I really want to know, and I was happy that we got a little bit of information. I'm hoping we get learn a little more as we go toward the release date. But yeah, that's where that all originated from. So I'm happy that we got that question in. And scrolling down, the next question came up is approximately how many mini games are playable in the Gold Saucer? Do you have a favorite or one you're excited for players to finally get their hands on? I love mini games. I won't lie. I enjoy mini games in every RPG I get a chance to play. And I know sometimes they can get like really kind of either annoying or long in the tooth, but I've never felt that way with the Final Fantasy 7 ones. I've actually really enjoyed them all, maybe except Fort Condor, but even Fort Condor I kind of enjoy. I know we saw Fort Condor in Intergrade, but I really wanted to know more about these because we are going to Gold Saucer in this one, which is where, you know, the majority of the mini games in the original were. So Hamaguchi responds, for mini games, save a few of them, pretty much all of them from the original games are going to be recreated for Rebirth. For example, with the Mog House mini game they used to be in the Gold Saucer, this is now moved to the world map, and we can experience the Mog House without being in the Gold Saucer. As for my favorite, and one I'm really excited for players to experience, I would say the Chocobo races, which will tie into the main story as well. Like all side content in the game, the Chocobo races are really well developed, and it's a mini game I can easily see the fans getting into because of all the aspects to it. To add to that, fans of the original games or people who have played the original have this image of the Gold Saucer was the place for mini games and the hub for those activities. This time around, there will be mini games within the Gold Saucer and some outside of it, scattered across the world. They can be uncovered by exploring certain locations or talking to certain characters. For example, the card game is played by characters worldwide. By continuing the journey and progress in the story, you will unlock new minigames and nuking opponents across the world. I think players will come out of this with the feeling that the entire world of Rebirth offers so much in terms of activities to enjoy. And I like that answer. That means we don't have to actually keep going back to the Gold Saucer to do those minigames. We can keep going on with the game. I like the fact that Mog House is outside of it. We see that in the screenshot. We've seen that like in the other trailer too. They walked past the Mog House, but they didn't interact with it. So I'm kind of curious how Cloud is going to do that. I also like the fact that, you know, we saw in a lot of these trailers that these mini games are going to be, some of them are going to be new, but I'm happy that a lot of them are returning. When you played the original, there's not as many as people remember in the Gold Saucer, I mean. But it's nice to see that they're going to flesh them all out. They're probably going to be way more in depth. I'm looking forward to, I mean, we're not going to get the snowboarding minigame at this point, but I want to see what they're going to do with the G-Bike. I'm looking forward to the rock, paper, scissors, rock'em sock'em robot one. I always liked that one, even if in the original it's almost impossible to get past the last guy. Just the computer cheats. But yeah, looking forward to more minigames on that stuff. So moving right along. In the trailers, we have seen the synergy team attacks. Will everyone have a team attack with everyone a la Chrono Trigger, or will be linked to a specific grouping of characters? So this is something I've talked about in RPGs for a long time. Any RPG with a team attack often does not have, nowadays, a team attack with every single character pairing. You see it in Chrono Trigger. In fact, even in Chrono Trigger, Magus does not have techs with anyone except the triple tech, a few triple techs, if you equip the stones on them. But it's hard because it gets exponentially harder. Every character you add, you have to have another set of pairings with the other characters, and it grows astronomically. And in this game, we're at least going to have, if I'm correct, Cloud. You have Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, Barret, Red 13, Kate Sith. And we know for a fact that Vincent and Sid are not going to be playable, so that leaves us with 6 characters. Sephiroth is playable, so that's 7. Obviously, for only a small portion of the game. But when that happens, like, you have 6 characters, now not only do they need to have a pairing with Cloud, the main character, but they have to have the pairing with every other character, so it's a permutation of 6. Gets pretty big. So Hamaguchi says, thank you for the great question. To answer it simply, all characters will have synergy attacks with each character pairing. Some of the reason we decided to do this this way was to give the players the freedom and fun of choosing through trial and error their favorite pairings or trying unique pairings that they hadn't tried before. If we would have it so that only specific characters are able to do synergy attacks, that would go against the idea of freedom and enjoyment for the player. We really wanted to keep those ideas of freedom for the player despite knowing that a lot of hard work and graphic resources went into making it this way. And I responded with, we appreciate that because I do. It's something that I've loved to see in games when they go the extra mile. I know it's hard. I know it's a lot of work. But that extra mile means a lot to a lot of people. It's extra credit, right? It's not going to affect, like I'm not using it as a review score, but if you would grade something out of 100, right? You're still going to get 100 if the games were amazing, or 90, whatever you want to give it. But the extra credit is like, oh, yeah, that was just so cool. I love that. And I really, really do appreciate it. So he goes on to say, on top of this, each character is going to have their own skill tree in which one could develop and gain new synergy actions and abilities for their favorite characters. For players that really like Cloud and Aerith, they can focus entirely on them or any pairing. We wanted to give the players choice and freedom to pick what they like the best or what they feel is most suitable for defeating certain bosses or enemies. I think that would be a really fun experience. And I agree with him. I think it is going to be a fun experience. And from what I played, it is a fun experience. So there's also some caveats to this, though. A lot of people don't understand this yet. There are 2 types of synergy abilities in this game. And we talked about exponential numbers, right? It's going to be even bigger than that because there's synergy skills, which are the defensive skills, and synergy abilities, which are the offensive skills. Synergy abilities are the flashy ones you see like in this screenshot, and you've seen in a lot of other trailers so far. Those are the ones where you have Tifa and Aerith like bouncing around, or you have one where Barrett picks up Red 13 and kind of throws him like almost like a grenade into the party and explodes. They're flashy, they're over the top. Those are the ones that have offensive abilities. You have to build them up if you don't know how to do that. I figured it out by actually watching my own gameplay because I was trying to figure it out as I was playing. You actually use ATB, and as you use ATB, it fills up another gauge that goes underneath the actual ATB gauge, which is a vertical bar. You don't see it in the screenshot. Actually, you do see it in the screenshot. You see those vertical bars. Every time you spend ATB, those gauges fill up. When you have 2 on each character, right, then you can use the synergy ability, and that does the flash attack. Now, synergy skills are tied to R1. R1 is defensive parry, right? But if you hold R1, you get the command ring or the command menu changes to the synergy skills. Here's where it gets interesting, though. When you hold that button down for one character, and I use Sephiroth and Cloud as a good example of this because you can see it in the gameplay at the end of this. I go over this. The synergy skills, right, are defensive, but not necessarily all defensive. When you're playing as Sephiroth, you have 2. You have 1, right? When you're playing as Cloud, you have 2, but there's still the same team pairing, right? So when you're playing as Sephiroth, you have dual blade dance with Cloud, and it's basically an attack. It's a defensive attack, but it does damage, right? But if you switch to Cloud at any time and you do hold R1, he has 2 different abilities. He has Void Shatter and Counterfire. Void Shatter is more of an attack-based one, right? Where Sephiroth powers up Cloud's sword and he does this like purple wave. And Counterfire is basically a counterattack with the fire materia, but it has to be timed correctly. So you're not getting dual blade dance for both of them. You're getting 3 different abilities. And this holds true for all the other pairings too. You can see in the gameplay later too, where I do this with Cloud and Aerith, right? Or I was playing as Aerith. Aerith has 2 synergy skills. Bodyguard. One with Tifa, one with Cloud. And then if you switch to Cloud, Cloud is a totally different one with Aerith and Tifa. So there's not just the 6 permutation, right? There's 6 permutation plus whatever else they added on, plus the synergy skills. So you're looking at a crazy number. Probably somewhere up in the hundreds of different kind of attacks. And the cool thing about the synergy skills too is they're not tied to any ATB. They're not tied to the synergy gauge. They're available whenever you want to use them because they're basically defensive maneuvers. Really cool stuff. So moving on. The next question to ask is, in Remake, we saw the use of summons like Leviathan and Bahamut, who were not available at that point in the original game. In fact, I should have specified more so that there are no summons in the original game at that point. So far, we've seen Alexander in trailers, a summon who, as far as we know, is part of the original game that could not be explorable yet in Rebirth. Alexander, if you don't remember, is in the Great Glacier. I don't think we're going to the Great Glacier at this point, from all the information we've learned. So my question is, are we going to expect to see more summons from further in the story in Rebirth? And which summons is your favorite so far? He didn't answer the second question about the favorite summon. I love answering those questions, or asking those questions, because I like to know what the developer's thinking, what they really love, so I can expect to see it too. But that was okay. He responds, great question for this. I can't review exactly which summons are in Rebirth so far. I would like to say that the summons are material from the live stream in the original Final Fantasy VII, but outside of that, they didn't really go much into the background or how they came to existence. So for Rebirth, we will explore a little more into that. For example, there are areas where we tie into summons, like an area where a specific summon was once revered or existed. With Chadley, the player will be exploring some of these aspects and will be shedding a bit more light on that. I think that's going to be cool. I think Final Fantasy VII is the only game with summons that does not actually have a explanation for it. They're not explained at all in the game, which is interesting. I think, if I'm recalling correctly, I think the only one that feels like it's actually explained is maybe Bahamut in the Temple of the Ancients, but even that's a kind of a stretch with the whole meteor stuff, because that's where you get Bahamut. So I think the fact that they're kind of tying it back in is going to be a cool concept. There's so many questions with them, and the reason why I ask these questions, and it comes up in this follow-up question right here, is because I've really, really, really enjoyed the concept in 16 about making it about summons. I feel like every Final Fantasy game at least has some kind of story tying with the summons, but 7 for some reason never did. And 7's the one that actually set off the whole big summon attacks, right? For the most part, they were all just they were cool attacks in the previous 6 games, but in 7 they were flashy and 3D, and some of them take minutes of your time in battle and just not worth summoning sometimes. Knights of the Round, I think, clocks in at like 2 minutes to actually do the whole attack. It's crazy. So I asked the follow-up question because I really wanted to know more. Are the summons going to interact differently this time around than in Remake? In Remake, you can just summon them and they fight alongside you, but we saw in 16 how amazing and spectacular the summons can really get. Do you have any plans or maybe change the system, or is it going to be the same that we saw in Remake? And so Hamaguchi responds, for Rebirth, there isn't something that is incorporating summons into the main story per se, but with the Remake, you may recall that the materia itself did not exactly level up. I did not remember that when I asked that question, which was nice. This time, however, there's a growth element that is kind of different from AP. By playing minigames or progressing through certain content in the story, the summon materia's ability to grow, and that way there is a sort of growth factor tied into the side content of the game. Hamaguchi-san also says, he has a question for me. I was not expecting that, and it was very nice to... It's when you do these interviews, it's usually... that doesn't happen. So he wanted to ask me a question. I was like, whoa, cool, awesome. You know that in Final Fantasy VII, there are these weapon-like creatures. If we were to introduce them like summons or another kind of entity-like creature, do you think that would be too much, or would you enjoy it? I'm all in on the weapons and giant kaiju battles. I love it. I love playing games like Monster Hunter, which, I mean, obviously to a smaller scale, but same kind of concept, right? You're fighting a huge monster. And sometimes the huge monster fights another huge monster. And I think that'd be awesome. I really enjoyed it in 16. I think it'd be really cool. Like I said, I enjoyed it in 16 a lot. It was a lot of fun to do stuff like that, but who knows? I respond, whenever we get to fight the weapons, you know, they're really big. Maybe we need big summons as well. I think it would be cool. Maybe we summon Bahamut or Bahamut Zero, and we're at that point of the game, which will be the third part. Or we summon Knights of the Round, right, to deal with the weapons, because on a scale basis, you got to think, right, even in the original game, fighting things like Diamond Weapon, Ultimate Weapon, Ruby, Emerald, right? We don't get to fight Sapphire. They're huge compared to the player character. And the scaling is kind of off, too, because it's, you know, a PlayStation 1 game. And now we're looking at it, and I can tell you right now, if you look at the Junon section of the game, right, and I can tell you just how different the scaling really is. You look up in the Junon section to see the platforms of the top of Junon where the high wind's located and stuff like that. You could see that from below. And you realize that huge gun is up there. That huge gun is up there. And that's the gun that actually fires on Sapphire weapon and destroys it. So that's why you never get to fight it. If Sapphire weapon's that big, there's no way the player characters are ever going to be able to do damage. Or at least it'll be like you'd be looking up the entire time fighting them. You'd be fighting their pinky toes. So in that regard, I think they already thought about stuff like this. They've already been trying to plot or plan how to actually deal with the weapons, because you can't leave them out of the game. They're very important. And how to make the player have this amazing battle with these huge monstrosities while keeping the scale exactly the way it should be, right? That's one of the hard things when you're doing remakes like this. So he and we got a bunch of laughs in the room, and he's like, we'll take that into consideration. So if there's giant kaiju battles in Final Fantasy VII, third part, you know where they came from. And that was a group question. One of the other members on the staff actually, he wanted to know about summons, and I did the follow-up question. So it's kind of cool that maybe I've influenced the third part of the game somehow. We'll see. So moving on to the next question. And I had one final question. It was a timed interview. Unfortunately, I didn't have like all the time in the world. I had a lot of other questions that I could have asked, but I had to know this one. This is the most important question. And I say it out loud. I'm like, I'm a big fan of dressing up characters in games, and I would like to know if there are cosmetics this time around. Maybe put Barrett into a sailor suit and keep Minute the rest of the game, because I know he loves that suit in the original game. He does. He actually puts the suit on when you get to Casa del Sol. He likes putting it on. And Hamaguchi-san responds, this is a great question too. Thank you. Throughout Rebirth, there are going to be occasions with optional mandatory clothing changes, just like in Remake. These align with the circumstances or the story. As far as can they wear them constantly, we would be careful to consider some of the serious moments, which is where would be more appropriate to not wear a costume to keep the scene impactful, being considerate so that players can have the best experience. And I understand that 100%. I get it, where they're coming from. I get it. A lot of players, I usually on my first playthrough, try at least when I get to important cutscenes to put them back in their original scene costumes, even though I do like dressing characters up. So this isn't a no, though. He didn't say no, that this is not going to be a possibility. It might be a New Game Plus thing. It might be patched in later, after people get a chance to play through the story themselves, which I think would be a better option. But, you know, I got to ask because, you know, I want to see Barrett in a sailor suit the entire game. I won't lie. So, yeah, that was the interview. I thanked Hamaguchi-san for his time. I'm looking forward to it so much. It's going to be a cool game. And I can't wait till February to actually get my hands on it. I know there's going to be a lot of games out in February, but that one's really important to me. I actually really enjoy that part of Final Fantasy VII. The start from the end of Midgard to the ancient city. I like that part of the game. It feels like an adventure. I love the sense of adventure in games, and I'm looking forward to that a lot. But yeah, that's the entire interview. I hope you enjoyed it. We learned some stuff. Once again, thank you, Square Enix, and Hamaguchi-san, thank you so much for your time and patience. It was really awesome. Thank you to the interpreter as well. I didn't thank her in the article, but interpreters and translators are the heart and backbone of a lot of this stuff. I cannot thank them enough for all their time. Thank you to all the Square Enix staff at the event. The event was super fun. I got to play the game, like I said. You're going to see that right after I'm done talking here. You're going to see a bunch of gameplay that my gameplay, like I said, from the two demos, which is there's the Mountain Able part of the demo with Sephiroth and Cloud, and then the outside of Junon section. Both very cool. Not many spoilers, but you know, there's a lot of gameplay stuff. If you're interested in that, check it out. Continue to watch the video. Give this video a like and subscribe, whatever, you know the stuff, you know the deal. And come join us on Twitch. I am the Twitch host over on twitch.tv/RPGFancom. I love hanging out, talking RPGs. Currently playing through Final Fantasy VII, with the Echo S mod, which is a very cool mod that is a bunch of amateur voice actors got together, and they got to make an amazing mod where everything's voice acted, and then the fans got involved too. It's very cool. It's actually very well done. So yeah, That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Enjoy the gameplay, and I will see you guys and gals in the next one. Have a great night. Peace out. There we go. There we go. Everything's ready to go. So the first part of the demo is the Cloud Sephiroth
Spring.
climb out Mount Mibble.
It's beautiful.
It's honestly really cool.
If we keep using Mako to power our homes,
They told
springs
me
like this will disappear, right?
at the event that this is not
What are you
guaranteed
talking
to
about?
be
Who told you that?
My dad.
an intro
And the
or
mayor, if you
a
must know.
tutorial level.
Except the planet's huge.
But honestly, it's kind of set up
Mako
really
will
well
never run
to
out,
be one.
right?
I wouldn't put it past them to actually do that. It makes sense to me.
Formed materia.
And a lot of the information you're seeing right here
look
is
at the
basically,
size
it's
of
like almost a one-to-one from the original game.
Astounding.
We were just playing the original game, obviously, so
to condense into something like
nothing
this.
kind of changes here, especially
must
like the
have taken
Hojo
an
lines and stuff like that.
I've always wondered,
Um,
how does materia let you cast spells?
you can kind of see, I mean,
How
you can kind
did
of see
you
the
ever get to be
mannerisms
a
for
soldier?
Cloud here, more like Zack.
To put it simply,
Which means,
the knowledge of the ancients is sealed.
to me, it
within
gives you
the
a hint that basically
That
I don't think the game's going
knowledge
to change
not
too much
only
in this
connects us
regard,
to the planet,
and how it's going to approach
it allows us to tap into her power. That's how we
this
can
part of
use
the
magic.
game. Like, I don't
Or
think
so they
Cloud's good
say.
backstory is going to change at all because of this. He really does think he's, well, he
Magic
was
sure
Zack. We
is
thought he was
weird.
at least partly Zack, right?
know
Which I thought was
someone
really
who'd be
cool.
livid
Like,
to hear
you don't really
call it
see that in the original
or
game.
magic for that matter.
You see that
I can just
in
imagine what he'd say.
here because the,
It's an
like, all the
affront to
high def,
science.
it's like
Who?
4K resolution, you know, all
Hojo
redone.
from research and development.
But
His predecessor was a great
this is
man.
fun though because in this version, you actually get to play as Sephiroth.
He is anything but.
He has such a baby face. I know he does look really, really young.
We
He
should
looks
press
really
on.
young in this. He basically glued his face onto Zack. Yeah. That's basically what happens, right? They are. I think that's exactly what they're doing, right? And so we'll pause right here real quick as we get to the. Well, like I said, I'm a dirty inverter. You know, I always invert my stuff. Sumi, up is down, down is right, and left is upside reverse. So you can mess around with Cloud's materia. He comes with that first strike materia. We'll pause. Let me back up a little bit here. Back up just a tiny bit and pause on the first strike. So if you don't remember, Cloud has first strike in the original part of this. Invert's the only way to live. I agree. He has the first strike materia in the original, like in the OG. Basically, they kind of set up the own thing, except Cloud here is actually really useful. He's not like just there to tag along and Sephiroth destroys everything. I mean, Sephiroth does destroy everything. When you play as Sephiroth, he is really strong. You can just like kind of feel it. He kind of chunks enemy HP bars with like every slash. But he's super fun to play as. But you know, Cloud or you know, Cloud Zack, whatever you want to call him, right? He's level 36. He's got some other stuff, and you can mess around with his materia. These are the only parts of the demo you can actually change the materia around. So I had to play through this twice. We had a technical issue. So we're gonna play this. We're gonna show two different versions of this. One where I kind of sped run through everything so I can get to the end, and one right here where I was kind of looking at everything. Or we're not pilots who need to invert. I'm sorry, man. That's how I grew up. It's just how I grew up playing flight sims and shit like that. Meaning like, you know, old school Windows games, right? The original Microsoft Flight Sim, that's just up, mouse go up, mouse go down. Nowadays, when I play with the mouse, I play normally, but the controls, man. You used to have those old school joysticks. Up is down, down is up. That's just how I grew up. Like the OG Cloud kind of acts normalish in the flashback. He does. He acts for the most part normalish. It's weird to see the soldiers behind him and all that stuff, but you know. But you can mess around with this stuff. We're gonna show off some other new materia here. There are a lot of new materia from both sections of the game. I think I like Sephiroth is set up just kind of how he is in the original. He has max everything connected to essentially all materia. It's kind of a nice little throwback. And he is very strong. This materia here, I think, was HP up, right? Yeah, I didn't even bother with HP. Anything that was like I had before, I didn't bother, but I immediately switched to Sephiroth. Because why the hell not, right? And then you get to see right here, you get to see Sephiroth's abilities right here. It's pretty basic. He does every square slash he does, or regular attack he does. You can follow up with a triangle attack for a different like branching path abilities. Yeah, like Pierce. Right now I think it says Aura Charge on there. It also says Sword Dance. And you just kind of like you go through like little branching things, and you can just constantly hit triangle too if you want. Like I think at one time I did like Pierce like 4 times in a row. It was easy enough. You watched the Rebirth trailer and weapons. It is brought up. We're gonna get to that in a second in the dev interview. He did bring that stuff up. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I think they're changing a lot of stuff up, and I really appreciate that. I like when things are changed up. It's more fun for me, honestly. I think it's more fun for everybody. I know people want to experience the original and like this like 3D, new kind of like engine and stuff like that. But you know what? The original game's there. If you want to play the original game, you can spruce it up. Trust me, we just did it. And then I want to experience something somewhat newish. I think that keeps it exciting and interesting instead of like I want to play the original. I'll play the original. Play the original forever ago. I know, right? He never cuts his own hair. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, Sephiroth's beautiful. Let's be fair. But his comically overlarge sword, he's really strong. He has retaliation stance. Press R1, and he can parry stuff. Everybody has parry and dodge now, including Sephiroth has like a warp ability. He's Sephiroth. But see, like he just destroys things. My PS1 textures. I know you need those PS1 textures. We'll go up here. We're going to go up here, and then we're going to skip around. I'm going to skip around a lot just to make this quicker than yesterday, and also because we're recording now. That is the spare change. So there is guild toss, so let's pause, and we'll get to where we can look at it. Where did I put it? There we go, like right here. I put it on. So I check out some of the stuff we picked up. Spare change. It's basically guild toss. The more money you have, the more money damage you do. I love every game that has guild toss. I do, because every time you have guild toss, what you could do is you could, if you really want to cheese some stuff. I don't know how powerful it really is. I never got a chance to actually use spare change in the demo. I should have, but you have 10,000 right here. I'm sure you could throw a lot of money. Usually the more you throw, the more damage you do. Just do max damage, and then you just walk away. If it does enter the ancient capital, the second visit with Boogie, yeah. I mean, there's gonna be a lot. I think they're gonna save for Disc 3. I think they're gonna change a lot of stuff up Disc 3, Part 3. So I mean, but yeah, there's a few of these. We're gonna look at the other material also in a little bit, but we'll zoom back. We'll zoom back. A little past that. There's another fight right there. This place is pretty cool. Like I said, this is more fleshed out. Past this, we just saw this. Also, I keep pressing the wrong button right here because I was so used to playing the original, because circle is firm and X is cancel on that one, so I kind of had to fix muscle memory and stuff like that. Teach me how to switch characters. I already knew how to switch characters, so I was like, whatever. I like how they brought all the enemies that were here originally, those little grasshopper things. But they really kind of fleshed this place out.
Piece of cake.
It feels more like a cave / reactor together instead of like a huge like just mountain with this tiny little reactor on top, which made no sense honestly in the original. But that's the way I should set it up right now. But now it feels like there's an actual reactor like placed like all over the thing, and it's actually absorbing the Mako from the mountain, which makes sense. But it's really beautiful. The game plays great. Smooth. We had to play in graphics mode, so we didn't play performance mode. So I'm curious how performance mode works. But here's the other next material we get. That's lightning and wind. So let me pause right here, and then we'll skip through. So right here, I'm gonna put that on right here. And then lightning and wind's weird because now we have these combo materia, which were not obviously present in the original game, nor were they in remake. So lightning and wind, you have 2 materia that does the same thing. You can go up to level 3 with them, so you can get all 3 spells with them, and you get to save spots. Instead of having to put both lightning and wind materia on, you can just put this one on. And in the Junon section, there's a fire and ice one that Cloud has. So there's gonna be obviously mixtures of everything. I don't know if there's gonna be a mix of everything, but I would assume that you're gonna get like maybe ice and lightning, and I mean, that would be the smart way to do it, right? But I also think that maybe there's also tri materia. There might be tri materia in the 3rd game. That'd be smart, right? Then you just put fire, ice, and lightning together, right? I would like to see maybe healing and revive come together. That'd be cool too. Like the flashback version of Mount Nibble was incredibly abridged. Yeah, it was a lot of it abridged in the original. I think we didn't get to play obviously before this. We didn't get to see the scenes before this. I know they've shown those off in the trailers before, so there's a lot more to this. But I mean, with the parts we got to play, were it was mostly just for gameplay reasons and stuff like that. A little bit, tiny little bit of story, but not much, that if you didn't play the original, you didn't see. But we can hook back. I think these are funny. These little climbing sections. The summons also provide spells. That'd be cool too. I think that'd be awesome, but I don't know if they're gonna do that. I like how Tifa either like yeets herself up or just jumps down immediately. And just I thought it was funny yesterday. I still think it's funny today. We just saw that. We saw that. Then we fight some bats here and stuff like this. Not bats, but Velocio Wings, right? The ones that used to do a Harrier attack in the original. See, like Cloud's not useless. He can actually do damage, but Sephiroth's so much fun to play. This is fun too. We get to see both of Sephiroth's abilities here, like Kujata, Fire, Ice, Lightning. That would make sense. That would absolutely make sense. He also does Earth. He does the Earth damage too. I don't think we've seen an Earth material. Did we see an Earth material in the original? I don't think we did. I don't think we saw Quake. I don't think there was. Not original. I mean, talking about a remake. I don't think there was one in that one, but there might be one in this one. I haven't seen it yet. We have both abilities right here, and here comes my dog. All right, puppy. Sephiroth has. Oh, you were outside playing, huh? He has two abilities. Zanshin, which is just like this little slash thing he gets to do. It was nice of Square Enix to give us access. I appreciate it. It was fun to play, and it was fun to meet Hamaguchi-san, who was an excellent person. Just it was a great interview too. I'm gonna go over the interview section after this, but yeah. Zanshin is fine. It's kind of cool, but Hell's Gate's the cool one. I mean, Hell's Gate's the one that everybody wants to see. That's the ability right there, right? I like how its description is descend from the skies and impale the enemy. We're gonna see that ability again. That's just what's gonna happen. It's just what's gonna happen. We're gonna see that ability a lot. either ooh, puppy dog. Ooh, my dog actually. The thing is she's like fast forward. Oh, she rewinded a bit. That's fine. Good dog. And it looks just like that. It looks just like when a certain person might have gotten stabbed in the original. Maybe we'll see it again. They look dope. But they still have some of these loading zones. In the open world areas, they don't have these. I'm pretty sure these are just, Unreal Engine loading area issues or things like that. Or it could be, I don't know. I don't think we went through any, like, they didn't do any of those to this and this. You know what? That's a good question. You know what? They didn't do any of those through small gaps things here. But, Tifa just jumps down. She just shows off. She's like, yeah, no, Cloud, move your butt. She just hops down. But you know what? Yeah, I don't think we saw any of those. So it might load a lot better. I understand why those exist, though. They have to kind of exist in some areas. This is the next material we get. I'm going to show this one off, too. Oh, that's Magnify. That's Magnify. We can skip through this. Let's get through this. Up here. Well, you're going to be exciting today, huh? So we got a zoo here. Then we learn about synergy skills, right? I'm going to pause here in a second. We'll talk about synergy skills and synergy abilities. Right here. So, if you hold the R1 button down, is the entire demo set in the column flashback? No. It's two different parts of the demo, Doc. It's actually, there's this part, and then there's also the part where you go to, it's Junon. It's the area right outside of Junon with the group. You come right out of the Mithril Mines, and then you end up in Junon, and then you get to explore the whole open area of Junon. And that's the second part. We're going to get to that second part soon. So yeah, you get to play as Red 13 and stuff like that too. But it was kind of cool. You get to play both. You gotta play Sephiroth, right? Love him or hate him, it's kind of fun to play as overpowered characters sometimes. But yeah, synergy skills right here are interesting. So we learned this in the dev interview. Synergy skills and synergy abilities are different. They're two different things. The whole Junon, yeah, quote unquote. There was obviously some parts where obviously later in the game you're gonna come back and explore it. I would say for the most part, it was like a lot of it. But yeah, synergy skills are defensive skills to an extent. Like you hold R1 button, and then you could do these two abilities, Void Shatter and Counterfire. This is when you're using Cloud, right? So the cool thing about this, and we learned this from Hamaguchi-san, is there's synergy skills and synergy abilities for every single character parry in the game. Every single parry characters in the game. These things don't take any kind of charges. They're more defensive skills. You have obviously Counterfire, which I'm going to accidentally use before because I had no idea what it did. And I'm going to use Void Shatter right here. If I switch to Sephiroth, he does not have these two. He has was it Dual Blade Dance? All right, Dual Blade Dance. I think we're gonna do it. We're gonna see that in a couple seconds too. So even though it's still with Cloud, it's a totally different ability. And obviously, we learned also from the dev interview that you can actually level up a lot of these skills and these abilities, and make them better or add more to them, which is kind of cool. I think that's dope. And like the fact that you have all these dual attacks with everybody is kind of mind blowing because when you think about it, it starts to add up. And they even said that like they know it takes a lot of graphical ability and a lot of hard work to put these in the game. Different in the combat from the base game. Yeah, how different is the combat from the base game? So it's basically kind of the same. I think it's a lot smoother. I noticed a lot of the times where I wasn't bouncing off enemies or bosses so much when you're attacking, but it's really smooth now. I felt a lot more powerful, a lot more. You have a lot more options because you can. They put deadly dodge and parry innate for everybody, so you can dodge and block for everybody now without having to put anything on, which is super nice. So that's Void Shatter. And then we're gonna switch to Sephiroth here. And he has Dual Blade Dance, so hold up, let me back up. Pause. Let's go back. So you can see right there, I did the same thing. So no material for that. Nope. These abilities also, as my dog jingles, these abilities also don't cost any ATB at all. The defensive ones don't cost anything. Synergy skills. Should call them synergy skills. Synergy abilities later actually are different. They actually take different kind of gauge than ATB. But this one is totally different. It's still Cloud and Sephiroth, right? But you're playing as Sephiroth, so it's different, right? That it kind of like there's gonna be so many now. And I'm kind of happy. I'm incredibly impressed that they went to that length for the players to have like that kind of freedom. Because you know it would suck if you like 2 or 3 certain characters and then like they don't really have like any synergy skills or anything like that. Oh yeah, I really like this character, but they have like one synergy skill, right? No, they went out of their way to make a dual text for everybody, which I think is above and beyond what they actually needed to do, and I appreciate that. So I think, like I said before, they changed stagger and pressure too. Yeah, this is Counterfire. I screwed this up. I didn't know what Counterfire was, so I did Counterfire. I'm like, okay, let me try the other one, right? And that's a counterattack, obviously. So much so that like Sephiroth didn't do anything. He just cast regen. He's like, no, I have a break. You called me back from destroying these things, so I did that. With a pebble for a dual attack, yeah.
It's all you.
Now barking, puppy girl.
This won't be the last.
You go, girl. Come here. Come here. We're gonna see some more. Oh, you're gonna keep barking? You gonna bark for YouTube? Good girl. Come here. Come here. I knew you were gonna bark today. Come here. Come here. Come. So we got another materia here. We'll pause right here as I distracted by my dog. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. I'll pet you. You know you're a good girl. Yeah, good pup. You gonna run away from me? Go ahead, run away from me. I'll play with you. That's level boost. It's kind of cool. It's we'll fast track here a little bit. We'll show it off. There. Well, can we stop? There we go. Level boost. So this is kind of a cool material. I think it's it'll play a good role for a lot of people. Maybe if they want to speed things up. Also, probably good for speedrunners, I would assume. I didn't even think about that. For anyone that wants to speedrun this game, I'm sure there will be. Level boost materia, basically anything that's linked to it gets 1 level boost. So if you have a fire materia that's level 1, it could be level 2 now, so you can cast level 2 magic. So you can speed things along. I didn't even think about that for like speedrunners. This would probably be like a godsend materia, right? And you need like high level magic to do more damage, so you'd put this on, right? Before you get the AP for it, so it makes sense. But it does not work with maxed materia, so there's no level 4 spells. So no fire. How do you say it? Fire jaw, right? Not fire agra. But it'd be fire jaw. I think that's what it is. All the jaw spells. No jaw spells here. But I think that's cool. Oh, the precision defense. We didn't go over this one. There's a precision defense materia. It was in the thing. We'll see if we can stop right here. If I scroll back down again. I forgot about the precision defense materia. Let's see if I can stop right on top of it without having... There it is. That improves the functionality of blocking with perfect timing. I didn't go over this yesterday. So you can extend the time and input for precision defense, but basically parry. So they basically made parry better. So if you really if you're really good at parrying, you can put this on, and it makes it just so much easier. Obviously, it has different levels too. I think you bring binding attacks, which I think is going to be important by blocking. I think binding attacks we're going to see when during the bottom swell fight. Whenever anyone gets picked up by any enemy, which usually just incapacitates them. I think you just block that attack if you have this on, which makes sense. Puts a little counterplay to it. But yeah, those are all the new materia here. We're gonna also get Comet here in a bit. We'll see Comet later. Also, like I said, it's gonna stop here after this fight, and then we're gonna switch. We're gonna switch videos because well, we have to. We have to. I'm gonna come up here, and then I think this is autocast. We'll look at autocast real quick. I'll show you autocast later, but I'm gonna swap because like I said, we had a technical difficulty and had to restart.
What?
It is the boss. This is not the Materia Keeper.
Get back.
By what it looks like, it is the Materia Guardian. I don't know if you're gonna fight a second one of these when you actually come here with the rest of the gang, but we'll see.
You said you wanted to be a hero.
Wish I hadn't.
See, that's the Zack line, right?
It thinks we're after materia.
Someone should tell it we're not.
Wouldn't be my guest.
So I'm gonna pause right here real quick as my dog nibbles me. Good dog. The Materia Guardian was cool. I would definitely put this like it feels very much like a tutorial boss. I would assume it's gonna be a tutorial boss. Sevy's like, let's go. Exactly. What's up, Lives? How you doing today? You didn't release the cut fishing from the game, did you? Of course I did. I was like, nah, no fishing. They're like, yeah, of course. No, of course. like they never listen to me. They did ask me a question. Like I said, if we have giant kaiju battles in Final Fantasy VII Part 3, that's me. Yeah, he was kind enough to ask me a question about weapons and how stuff like that. I was like, maybe we need some giant summons for kaiju battles. I'll get to the dev interview after this, but as my dog nibbles me. I noticed this between this and Guard Scorpion. Guard Scorpion, like I said, when you played the original remake, I felt like a lot of the bosses were HP sponges, and also like you bounced off of them a lot, right? There was parts where you just couldn't hit them because you had to do a certain thing. So you wouldn't be able to do damage, and you just bounce off, and your character would stumble backwards. Hated that. It was obnoxious, especially during Hell House. I think that was the worst part of Hell House fight. Hell House fight was awesome in the remake. The worst part was when you couldn't do damage to him because you had to do certain things. Yeah, so yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. As far as I've seen from both boss battles, no. You just when you go to attack them, you attack them. You hit damage, you do damage to them. Which is the way it should be, honestly. And any of the enemies I fought, none of them felt like that. None of them felt like remakes, bouncy things. I hated that. So honestly, a lot smoother this time around. So we'll continue the fight here. Nibble. I love you. You want to fight the Materia Guardian? You like Sephiroth? Sephiroth dog.
Gotta keep your guard up.
Oh yeah. Tell that to Sephiroth, right?
Calling fire.
they did multiple pierces right there with Sephiroth's ability. Here comes the air stab.
On me.
Here comes. That's not the dual attack. That's just the cinematic. The dual attack's gonna be soon.
Sephiroth.
Hit that bitch. What? So like,
Pretty mobile.
Till we knock it down.
Good thing I don't just fight with a sword.
sure about that. You have to knock him down, obviously. Like this, and when you find the guard scar, my dog's being a pain in the butt tonight. She was so nice yesterday, but not tonight. When the guard scorpion fight, right, it did stuff like this too, right? Which I think they're very similar. Which is why they make great. I'm assuming this is going to be the tutorial eventually. They said there was nothing was confirmed. But yeah, like during the guard scorpion, when you had to do stuff like this, like you couldn't actually hit the boss at all with anything else, right? Obviously, he's up there. You have to hit him with the magic, right? But the two magics, he's down. Boom. And you continue to fight. I think that's like that kind of stuff. I think is a lot better now.
Copy.
Try to keep your guard up.
I love the music too. The music's great. Sorry, we're gonna do that ability again. It's beautiful. Yeah, with Barret comes to mind. Yeah. And then when you put the barrier up, it's annoying too. Up. Well, jump to the cutscene. So this one we're gonna see the dual attack. I call them dual attacks. The synergy abilities.
You're practically panting.
I'm excited.
Such a puppy.
That's a good line. I like it. Puppy dog. That's a puppy. So I'm gonna pause right here. So, like I said before, there are differences between synergy skills and synergy abilities. I'm gonna let here they have double helix, right? We'll put that good off so you can see the actual. I figured this out yesterday too, watching my own gameplay.
I
Right?
like the looks of this.
So now on the ATB bar, on the menu bar, right? Not the menu bar, but the HP bar, right? Now they have little vertical lines, right, underneath the ATB. And what I found out watching the thing yesterday is you use the ATB when you use ATB, right, to do spells or abilities. That adds another vertical line to your thing. So it goes from your ATB to that synergy, right? And when you have enough, you have at least two. You have to use the synergy abilities, which is kind of like limit breaks or dual techs. So those are different than the actual synergy skills. Synergy skills, you don't need any of those vertical lines to do anytime you want. You can just use defensive skills. The abilities require you to have at least two for each party member. And I'm sure there's going to be, if there's a second or third one, who knows? But yeah, it's cool that like everybody has abilities like this.
Stay alert.
Yes, sir. Whoa. That was insane.
Don't get distracted. Strike.
I know.
The space itself.
Not doing so great.
Rookies.
I actually meant to hit the left leg there to save him, but I was like, you know what?
You're in good hands. Can't go near the Mako.
I'm still trying to figure things out to this point. See, I said 5 here, kind of. I wanted to, but you know, things happen, things like that. No, so Limit Break is still back. Good to see Octo Slash from Sephiroth.
Got ya.
Take it from here.
See, bring in the pause right there. Yeah, so you get to see all Junon right there. And you get to see the underpart is Junon also. I guess that would also be technically Junon. Junon Village, Junon City. But yeah, you get to see the High Wind up there. You get to see the scale of everything. You get an idea of just how big they're going with all this. Because I mean, I guess when the world map, you're huge. It doesn't scaling doesn't work in the original games, right? But I like the fact that I like when they go big. I like when games go big like that. It's like you get a sense of like just how tiny characters are or were back then, but you never really understood it. You got to use your imagination to an extent. But you get a black chocobo here. I'll explain something about the black chocobo. The black chocobo can swim, because it should be able to climb and swim. You cannot climb with this black chocobo though. I try. But I'm gonna pause in a second here again, and we're gonna jump around this part a lot. They can play chocobo hot and cold. That's what that is, right? They smell treasure. You can use the abilities to find it. I try to play it later, but I suck at it, so it didn't work out. And you're gonna see as we go down this thing. Once again, I'm a dirty inverter. Sorry, I gotta invert my stuff, man. That's how I roll. I keep forgetting. I keep. That's how you know it's my gameplay. Because I have to invert things first. I also made sure to make sure we saw Red 13 riding on the chocobo like that.
There's a story about a great condor said the roost.
It looks so weird, but it looks so it looks so like perfectly fine if you use like cartoon logic.
Or at least none that I'm aware of.
They just finally reclaimed.
Yeah, we'll go for Osmond playing chocobo hot and cold. You're right.
Well, even if we could get there, I'd rather not.
Oh yeah, the game looks beautiful. I'm not sure how you feel about Red riding chocobos. I mean, it works. They made it work. I would love to find out the person who did that and just give them like an award, because it looks really good, I guess. But what I wanted to say, like, about the chocobos not climbing here. I was like, okay, can I see you? So I'm gonna. Oop, no. Can I get a better view of it? Pass me. Go forward, please. No. Pass me. Go. There's a lot of collectibles in the ground they use for item transmutation. I'll show you that in a second too. I'm gonna jump around here. I'm not gonna look right, am I? Of course I'm not, because I can't talk to pass me. This is what watching me on stream must feel like, right? Why are you not doing this? Go look at that, right? What's up, Talifer? How you doing? Okay, you know what? We have to. I'll skip forward then. I'll skip forward. I think it was like over. Nah, that's too far. That's too far too. It was probably around here. Yeah. See, like, this is what I was trying to talk about. Rainy, gloomy day. It is rainy outside. This is after I did everything. Just jumping around a little quick. Because I want to show this. I want to explain about, I think, how this game is going to play out in terms of coming back to certain areas in the game. I don't think you're going to go to an area, explore all of it, and say, I'm done. Move on to the next area, right? I think what you're going to have to do is exactly this. So, pause. Back up just a scooch. Hold up. Yeah, let's play this. The tracking on this is not great. Sorry. Windows Media Player. Not great. Let's see if I can pause better. I'm usually pretty good at pausing things, but you can see right here. If you look at that cliff, boom, right there. You see it has a black chocobo on it, right? And arrows going up. It goes up. So at some point, you're going to come back to this area because you're not going to have a black chocobo when you come here originally, I don't think. Would assume not. You're going to have to go raise one during chocobo races probably, just like you did in the original. And then you're going to come back to this area and then go up that and go explore whatever's up there. Because there's obviously more to the map. So, but unfortunately in the demo, you were not allowed to do that. Because I did check. Like, you know what? Nope. No prompt or anything. So yeah, unfortunate. That's just how it is. But and then we'll warp back here, and then we go right back to where Red 13 is. Perfect. Oh, I'm so good at this. I've learned exactly where all the timestamps are. So we got to play as Red 13. The first thing I did in battle was switch to Red 13. Because I wanted to play as him. Red 13 has an interesting mechanic. The Vengeance Gauge, or Revenge Mode, whatever you want to call it, Vengeance Mode. Basically, the more he blocks, right? Because he's really fast, right? The more he blocks, the more vengeance mode he builds up. And you can hit the triangle button any time. You don't have to let it fill up all the way. It's not one of those abilities where if it doesn't fill up all the way, it doesn't work. No, you fill it up as much as you want and expend it. And then you dodge quicker. You move. I think you move a little quicker. And you just attack faster and you hit harder. This is live? No, this is not live. I wish it was live. I enjoyed playing the game. It was amazing. I can't wait to play it again. Red 13, Gear Rising Revengeance. What's up, B-Johns? I would love to, but always like geographic hints and explore areas. Yeah, I know. It's the Chocobo stuff was actually really cool. Like I kind of figured out just by watching it, right? But yeah.
Farewell.
Yeah, sorry, I turned off all the commands right now. I might have actually played still, but Red 13 is super fun to play as. You can follow the Chocobo Chicker over here. Cause I want to, like I said, I want to put this up on YouTube later. These are Chocobo stops, or basically tents or campfires or fast travel locations. I'll put them back on in a second. But it's kind of cool. You put the thing up, you hold the button because I was a dumb idiot and just didn't hold it last time. And then after that, you can pick the little Chocobo chicks. Now, so they give you, I'll show you right here too. They give you a golden plum and they say can be exchanged for Chocobo Garrett ranches. There's a ranch on this map. I did not actually get to go to it. You so badly want this game to be very good. This game is, I loved Remake. I did. I really loved Remake. I enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy VII fan, but I really enjoyed Remake. This is a lot better. They've obviously learned a lot of things. They've streamlined a lot of things. The open world stuff is fun. You get to pet little chocobos. But I did not find that Chocobo Ranch. So at the Chocobo Ranch, you can customize the chocobos, which is cool. But then you can use the cushions here, which is basically tents. Bort! Oh, there's Bort! See, my son is also named Bort. Oh, you know what I never noticed? You know what? Looking at this again. If you look at the left thing is the save symbol from the original game. I didn't even realize that until just now. I had to actually see that. I didn't even notice that. It's just my mind clicked at it, right? The little C. I never understood why they used the little C in the original game, right? Maybe it's a Japanese thing, but I never realized that. That's a little Great Scott. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, didn't realize. I guess it is technically a save point. That makes sense, right? Cool. You know what? Little things you notice the second time looking at something. Kind of looks like a floppy disk. It might have been a floppy disk. Yeah, that's also a possibility. I'd love to know what the actual symbol was supposed to be. The benches had a symbol of 7 Remake. The things I didn't pay attention to when I played that game. He has a pumpkin on his butt, true. Question mark? Now, see, that's what I thought it was, too. I thought it was a question mark, too. But, you know, CRTs and 240p gameplay. What are you going to do? Or PS1 memory card. Could have been one. Yeah, that's possible, too. So I went on foot here, but I realized it's probably better off to travel on Chocobo 90% of the time because Vixens climb everything you can. And they also can explore better than you can. I wanted to use Red 13's abilities so bad. They're cool. He has a very cool ability.
This one's for you!
You know, I couldn't figure out what that first ability reminded me of, but I realized this ability, the one a little bit back, this one right here, right? That's just his normal attack from the original game, right? The little flippy thing he does, that's just his normal attack from the original game. It's now an ability.
This one's
smart.
For you.
Aerith will always talk. No. She ain't afraid of nobody. From the wiki, save point shaped like purple, green, floating question mark, or C stands for checkpoint. Okay. So yeah, you get 3 different parties here, by the way. You don't have to use Aerith and Red 13. You can use, and I'll do it in a bit here. Let's jump forward a bit. I'm just going to there, so let's jump forward a little bit.
Backing off a bit. That's it. Ha! You can do it.
Leave it to me.
One more shot.
Nothing to it.
At this point, I'm still trying to figure out how like abilities, synergy abilities activate and stuff like that. And now I know. But learning on the fly is hard, especially when you're time constrained. Different, but so if you checked out the map, let me look at the map again. Where did I pick up? Where did I pull the map up? Pull the map up. There we go. In the demo, there are 5 objectives. There's 4 battles and the main objective, which is blue. So I did them all. They told us to do all the 4 objectives before actually going to the blue objective. So that's exactly what I did. And rewind right here. Also, this is me trying to figure out how to switch switch parties until I figured out like how to do it. They had 3 different parties set up. You could Barrett, Red 13, or Tifa and Aerith. Or Red 13 and Aerith, which is cool. And they all have different setups. You can't change anybody's equipment or materia in this demo. They're locked in. And then we'll do the first fight. Oh, and I skipped over mine. Hold up. There's also my... I skipped over the transmuting stuff too. Hold up. We'll back up just a bit.
Disposition of the alpha don't led to its widespread adoption.
So each area is... I think this is a Chadley side quest. No one tells you how to do side quests first. Everyone knows that Scott loves side quests. It's true. You know what? I'll end up doing all these. I'm pretty sure these are Chadley side quests. Gives you, I'm assuming, I don't know. He gives you something like mine, and it just kind of explains all these enemies. And you don't have to let it finish talking, it'll talk as it fights.
They are a notoriously difficult creature to raise in captivity, and were usurped by
You can clip me. You know you can.
Chocobo. At present, the only remaining wild
I think it's kind of cool that you get some backstory on this stuff. These basically are notorious monsters or hunts.
Especially these ones, which is why we must study them thoroughly before they become a threat to
But I love
animals
learning
and
about
humans.
enemies or bestiaries. They're cool. Your boy Chadley, yeah, my boy Chadley. That's my boy. I look item transportation here too. This is cool. So all those items you pick up off the ground. There's a lot of them. Borderlands style recordings. Every new game has that. True. But I kind of like the fact I like learning about like enemies. I'd actually do like, you know, you ever go through a bestiary and just read about them? You learn little stuff. It's cool. But yeah, transmuting. I didn't actually hit L1 R1 because I'm a dummy. But you can make potions, high potions. The cushions are tense because you obviously can't put your butt on a dirty bench. I mean, duh. Not the fact that I live in New York City and every bench is dirty. But you know, yeah, everyone else, you know, you can't get dirty on your trek through the wilderness. I think it's funny, but you know, at the same time, I like the you gotta use a tent, right? They removed it in later games. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Which 3 is 70% best areas, yeah. But I think L1 R1 also bring you to equipping armor and stuff or making armor and stuff. And you can set like goals, to-do lists. So you know when you're picking up stuff, it'll just tell you when things are done so you can make it, which I think is nice. But yeah, we'll skip ahead here. The battle. And these battles also have 3 different objectives. I did not have a bad time with this game. I loved it. It was so fun. I'm so looking forward to playing this again. This is the last time we're gonna do this, but like, God, I gotta relive the memories, man. I gotta relive them. Can't play for another 4 months. But three objectives. They're not the same objectives for each one. But this is where I think pressure and stagger are different. I think in the original, correct me if I'm wrong. We talked about this yesterday. Pressure is when you get halfway through the stagger gauge, right? It pressures it, and then you stagger it at full stagger, right? But now you can stagger something without pressuring it. I think pressure is just continually attacking without screwing up or getting attacked back. There's lack of cat girls and fishing. Good. We do not need any of those. It might be game of the year. Couldn't make it a release day, I know. I might have to freeze myself like Cartman. See, like, yeah, and then you get stagger now again still. Part 3 have more too, maybe. We show this little fight here. It's fun. I think we get to see the next fight we get to see the dual attack. We get to see Comet here. Comet's cool. And I'll show up the materia here in a second too. They have equipped. There's a there's synergy build. No, I didn't use it. I just started straight because you got it. And I finished off before I got a chance. Sid wears a cat girl outfit in part 3 or part 2. Might not have to play it. But yeah, you can call the Chocobo anytime, by the way, which is the nice little thing. Like I said, you kind of want to stay on him. Transform to a fish man. No thanks. No, not Vincent. He's too cool. You can pin things on the map, which is nice too. Good for objective finding. We can skip ahead a little bit here. You can take the Chocobos to go swim. I did not, and you can also swim yourself, which I was dumb. And even though I knew you could do that, I didn't do it because I'm a dummy, despite the fact that he's swimming. So you can see with the Chocobo has its own little. Hold on, let's back up just a second. That hat the Chocobo has on it, right there, which is basically a Shinra helmet, right? They have customization. I also didn't do this, by the way. I apologize. I did not actually find the Chocobo Ranch here. There's another Chocobo Ranch here where you can get those golden plumes from the little Chocobos chicks, hand them in, and get costumes for each Chocobo, like barding. It's cool. So you may not be able to dress everyone else up. You can bear it. I mean, there are optional costumes for a lot of characters. You can't dress them up, as we learned in the interview. But you can dress up your Chocobo, which is awesome. We'll let the second fight play here.
Commencing guidance protocol. During this
Peak fiction. That's not
Tornadoes migrate to the Junon region to seek out mates. They build their nests far from civilization and raise their young in pairs. In terms of duties, it often falls to the males to search for food. Unfortunately, when food is scarce, they may occasionally.
I don't have to wait for this, but this is one of the reasons why maybe I was pressured for time, because I was waiting for this stuff. I thought if I started attacking, it would stop talking. But it doesn't. I did it later.
Such attacks will only grow more frequent. On that note, please take care not to become a snack during your investigation.
Bring it in.
No holding back.
I'll go over the real mysteries. I'm not so sure I like you guys' mysteries. Oh, Morph's here, by the way. I'm going to go over the materia in a second. We got Morph. Morph, you need to get them very low. I did not morph anything, but one of the other players actually managed to morph them. And you need to get their HP very low to work, but it does work. After this fight, we'll go over the materia. We'll skip ahead a little bit.
Let the heavens go for it. Don't overdo it.
Need my help, do you?
I always need your help, Eric. You're amazing.
You got this under control.
So you can stagger an enemy without pressuring it.
Got a whole heap of land with your name on it. Give it all.
Going in.
And, we didn't get these Tifa yet, but Tifa would have made that staggering edge go higher. So synergy ability, this one's cool. It's Overfang. I think this one's funny. He just picks Red 13 up and chucks him. I love it. It's actually really cool. I'll watch a little bit. I'll give it one more time.
Give it all.
Picks him up. And just yeet. These are cool though. There's a few of these. Like I said, there's one for every parry in the game, which is dope.
You ready?
Come on.
Hang back.
Do this shit right. Guess it's my turn.
Alright, we get to see Barrett's limit. They have all the limits from
It's an
previous
ass
games.
whooping you want. You're about to get that and then some.
It's all the guaranteed.
Give 'em what's coming right now.
Yeah, that's the second fight right there.
You were unable to complete the objective.
But yeah, like I
Let's
didn't
try again.
somehow I didn't pressure the enemy. I don't know how, but I mean, that's why I assume both of them are different now. You don't have to complete all the you don't have to complete all of the objectives in these things, and you can redo them if you mess it up. There's a retry button. Yep, see, yeah, retry button. I made sure to look at all the material in the game because, you know, I wanted to make sure, you know, people saw their stuff. And then we'll go back to the third and fourth fight. You couldn't change anyone's equipment. I tried. So, oh, back up just a bit. We'll oh, I missed it again. Wow, really? I'm bad tonight. Tonight I can't do it. So that's another fire and ice material. So we saw wind and lightning. Now there's fire and ice also. So you know there's going to be mixtures of all these combo materials, which is cool. So you don't have to worry about actually, you know, losing a slot. Say you want fire and ice, you could just put this one on. And there might be other combinations too. We don't know. But I thought that was cool. And there's Morph too. Like I said, Morph only works with very low HP. I don't know if there's an Earth one. I don't remember if there's Earth in the original remake. I don't remember if Earth was actually in remake. If there is Earth, Wind, and Fire, that'd be great though. That first one she has a prayer. Autocast. Hold up. Back up. Man, so fast. Autocast. So we saw autocast in the first section with Sephiroth, but I didn't show it off. But anything that's connected to automatically casts. There was Earth in remake. Okay. I'm assuming we'll get like Earth. I'm sure Earth and Wind. We don't get Earth and Wind material. It'd be weird, right? I don't remember casting Quake though. Maybe I did. Anything that's casted to autocast. Wind definitely. Oh yeah, we had Arrow. For sure we had Arrow. Just play on Switch 2 prototype? No. It's not PS5. Yeah, but I agree. I agree with some people said yesterday and Leo said tonight. Like I would assume maybe it would probably be a better idea to make this just not a materia and just have like kind of auto thing. But I understand why it's probably works better as a materia for just gameplay purposes or maybe streamline in the game. But like maybe you only want them to do one thing without being overly complicated. So anything that's connected to autocast. So if you want to auto heal, you can have Aerith just heals when she needs to heal. It's super nice. Limit Siphon's new. We didn't see this yet, so you could steal an ally's limit gauge to fill your own up. So maybe you don't like Aerith's limits. Maybe you like Cloud's limits. You can just make sure that they cast their stuff and just steal their stuff. Makes sense. This would not have been a material in the original game. No way. There's Fortification. There's Protect and Shell in this game. And there's also, we're going to see the opposite of this one, Innovation, which is De-Protect and De-Shell, which is new to this too. There's also Bravery and Faith. We're going to see both these. But I'm happy they're bringing Protect and Shell back. I like those spells. I will have. As long as they last a significant long time, it'll be useful. There's no fishing material, boys and girls. There's Guild Toss again. We saw that earlier. What do I mean? Auto weapon ability. I think this is cool too. this is essentially you applies weapon abilities, assigned to command shortcuts. Yeah. So anything in the command shortcut, she will do her weapon abilities. When not actively controlled, which is great. Especially for something like Tifa. Tifa was super strong in the original remake, and she's super strong in the original too. But like she was really good for building up the stagger gauge. But if you don't want to play as Tifa, I understand. Maybe you don't like planners or, but having her around to actually be able to build up the stagger gauge a bit better. She'll do it automatically now, so it's great. What's up, Mozzie? How you doing? What about lure materia? There is no. I haven't seen a chocobo lure materia. We didn't see that yet. You guys are onto things, huh? Barry was sub before. I don't know why Barry has MP up, but they gave him MP up. Innovation. This is D protect and D shell. So you can do both. Obviously the opposites, and you can connect them things. Auto unique materia I think is cool too. This allows them to use their triangle command on without having to worry about actually using them. So like someone like Barrett that uses like overpower and stuff like that, or if you want Red 13 to use that vengeance ability, they can do it like that. Why wouldn't want people play as Tifa? I have no idea. I mean, Tifa's the best. She was really good in the original. But yeah, so if Tifa also uses Unbridled Strength when not actively controlled, the material says that directly. If this material is equipped. So it's nice, I think, on characters that you really want to have, just have their abilities all the time. There's empowerment, bravery, and faith here in the game. Basically, and there's also apparently D, and you can see from this too, this has resistances. So there's D brave and D faith. So there's attack down and magic down also. That's what that is, essentially. And this comment, what do they call the second comment? Cometeor. I didn't realize that. Cometeor. That makes sense. But yeah, that was all the new material we saw. But did they leave if your party is brave and have faith? No. If your brave is too low, yes. They leave. Barrett's like, I'm out. Peace. Your faith is too high. It's like, nope. You don't believe in the planet anymore. There's the transmute stuff again. Can't call it meteor, yeah, right? I like everyone's chocobo just disappears when you hop off. I'm not barking. Come here. Why are we barking? No. Yeah, that baby. Perhaps these will be able to develop swifter, more efficient ways of felling thieves. Now hurry and collect our data before that nimble wolf gets the best of you.
That's it.
I want your toy. Assembly. Yeah, that background. Hold up.
So long. Finish it.
Leave the rest to me. Down with you.
Want your toy? I have it. That bark. So. There you go. Good girl. I missed most of the fight, but it was pretty self-explanatory at this point. Very That's the only way she's gonna abandon us is if her faith's too high. Not by anybody else, right? I'm still trying to figure out synergy abilities, like I said. So I learned it yesterday when we were looking at this stuff, right? So when you spend AT bar, the AT bar, if you look at the bottom right, the AT bar goes to the, after you spend it, it goes to the vertical bars. That's how it works. Every ATB you spend goes to the vertical bars. So you're basically exchanging. It's basically like an exchange system. Use ATB, it goes to your synergy skills. And then obviously the synergy skills, the defensive ones don't cost anything. They don't cost the vertical bars. But the dual techs actually do cost the vertical bars. I'm going to see that with Tifa and Aerith in a second here.
Right, my turn. This one's for you.
Next time, see if you can clear all the objectives too.
I had the little touches of like battle poses right there. Game's yawning at me because I did not complete the objective. I'm not a gamer, right? That's how it works. Hey, babe. Good girl. Why are you dirty? I'll clean you in a second. You're outside playing with mud, weren't you? Of course you were. All right, so we're off to this next objective. This is the last fight over here. Then we'll go. Then I'll show some exploring, and then we'll get into this, I guess, spoiler zone. Not really,
Rare
but
Zemzalet variant identified.
we'll finish up here.
Commencing guidance protocol. Zemzalets are known as the sages of the skies, not only because of their intelligence.
So those are those big. You remember those
but
big
also
wing
their
things?
remarkable
We learned this yesterday, right? The big birds that give you white wind in in the original. These are these things now. They're redesigned.
that makes them both
I used the Tifa Aerith thing for this finally. You know, God plays Tifa. I play this Tifa a lot. In fact, I don't think I switched off her when I had it. I like the punchy people. Punchy people are fun. We didn't see enemy skills, so it's Soothing Breeze. It's not White Wind. It's Soothing Breeze they
They're
have.
so quickly, they're capable
Oh, Tifa's in this, yeah.
of solid stone.
Gotta play the new people. Gotta play Sephiroth and Red 13 and stuff. There should have been a party with Tifa and Red 13. I don't know why.
Oh, but Tiff cannot do so entranced by their abilities that you lose focus. There! No! Standing you!
Now, so we're gonna see two things. It's like I'm still trying to figure out synergy ability. I really am. I'm trying to figure it out as I play. I wish I would have known before, but good girl. Pterodactyl. She already has Dolphin Kit.
I can help too.
So we're gonna see the synergy skills here, and this is what I was talking about with different characters. Calm down. Go lay down.
Gotcha.
Go on. Okay.
So, right there, Aerith has bodyguard. She has bodyguard with Tifa or bodyguard with Cloud. Obviously, it makes sense. That's the, that's what she signs Cloud up for, being a bodyguard. So it makes sense that her synergy skill, the defensive synergy skill is bodyguard. But yeah, it's like these don't cost anything. It's just that, and then Cloud comes to defend her.
One more shot.
You want more RPG pad? Tag into this to punch me too. We're gonna see Tifa's and Aerith's dual tech here in a second.
Ask for it. Get him. Let me handle this.
Maybe one day, Kelly. You don't need cover to do that too, right? So this is a cool ability. So this is Tifa and Aerith's. These dual attacks are so cool. I am so glad they went the extra mile to give a dual attack to every single character pairing. I cannot tell you enough that it's like super great that they did that.
Aerith, okay.
Probably bugged the crap out of me. Because it's just cool. Those are cool.
Couldn't have gone any better.
Dual attacks are awesome. Shimon Haru Makoto's dual Showtime, yeah. Yeah, the Showtime's attacks in Persona 5 Royale were cool too, right? Dual attacks are great. No barking. No barking on the microphone. Nobody needs to hear that.
Well fought. Though perhaps you could polish off those objectives next time.
Good girl. Good girl. The extra, yeah, they had extracts and stuff like that. I'm assuming there was an extract already. That. At this point, you can go to the Junon part. Yeah, down, baby. Oh, you excited? I know. You want to be a Final Fantasy? You like Red 13? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you get to explore a little more. This area, lots of areas to explore here. That's a cushion, not a towel. I'm looking for it. I can't find it. But you can swim. You can swim out to those rocks, I believe. Both with the chocobo and without it. But you cannot dive, which makes sense. I mean, there's going to be submarine. Well, assuming there's going to be submarine in part 3. But yeah, you can go out. I don't know why I walked back to the chocobo. when I didn't need to. But I'm going around just exploring things I didn't see before because I don't know how much time I had left. Like I said, I wanted to make sure I saw everything I could. Even though I did miss things, I climbed up the tower here, I think, right? This is one of those towers that they talked about with the Chadley, but you couldn't activate anything here. I tried. I went back and up a few times. But I tried to activate it. No, we can do a slide down. I think you have to wait until later. Or maybe they're actually out of the demo. But yeah, I tried everything I could. And then, what else is there? We're skipping around just because, you know. Otherwise, we're going to sit here and watch me walk around. Yeah, it's over there. Those chocobos. I know there's something over there. There's chocobos. But to keep the emerald jump scare, I know that emerald fighting me when I was a kid. I just want to slide down the pole. I did. I slid down the pole twice, actually. Skipped over it, though. I call them. So we skip around right here. This is me going back up to the start. Because I was curious if there's anything back up here. And then I realized this is when it hit me that, as you're going to see here in a second. I'm assuming maybe they'll release the demo publicly. I have no idea. Eventually, right? Then I realized if you see right here, it says Mithril Mine. So that is the Mithril Mine they come out of. We have not actually, I don't think we've seen anything in the Mithril Mine yet. Was Emerald Spawn Point? Oh my God. Frightening. But yeah, the Mithril Mine's right there. That's what they came out of when we started it. I wanted to check everything else. I think I checked, we'll skip back a little bit. Oh, the limit. I checked over here to see how far you can go. Because, you know, that's me. I push boundaries when I can. But yeah, no, it says you can't go any further than demo. So that part, I didn't even think about it. Someone said it yesterday. That's probably Fort Condor over there. That's probably Fort Condor over there. So you just can't go over that way. Which makes sense because the Condor flew that way with the guy at the start. It also makes sense because I believe Intergrade, you also get to go Fort Condor with Yuffie by the beginning, right? So yeah, I did get the long range material. So as I did before, over here, wait, let me skip. I tried to do this too, like I said before. You're gonna come back to these areas in the main game. This has a very obvious chocobo arrows, black chocobo. It's a black chocobo picture with arrows on top, meaning you can go up, but you can't do it in the demo either. Cloud does Cloud get a discount for his service? No. No, he doesn't. And over here, I get to play the Chocobo Hot and Cold game, which I really wasn't that good at. Like I said, once again, I was worried about time, so I wanted to make sure I got everything. Run over everything, sure. So you sniff the air, you find the scent, right, and then you peck the ground. It's Chocobo Hot and Cold. Demo locations. I mean, hey, I just wanted to play more. Yeah, you couldn't fire anything. I did like 3 times. Like, all right, I'm running out of time. I gotta make sure I go fight the boss, right? But and that's pretty much all the exploring you can do in the demo. We'll skip ahead here. Yep. So this is underneath Junon, so I'm gonna pause it right here. There are some spoilers here. If you are curious about spoilers, please don't watch the next section. There's not many, but you know, hey, I know some people are, and I get it. I don't like getting spoiled either. So, but this is the town underneath Junon. I like how the light kind of comes back in. You adjust, and then yeah, that looks way better than the original. Spoiler zone. I mean, like I said, I'm like, oh man, we gotta freaking use that dolphin and jump up there again, don't we? I hate that dolphin game. But we're gonna get a cutscene here. Didn't you get to fight Bottomswell? This is the end of the demo as we get to fight the boss. The boss is cool. It's not called Bottomswell anymore. It's called Terror the Deep. Makes sense to me. Bottomswell's a great one. I guess take a hit for 69 right off the bat. So you still get you can still put in a bubble, and you have to just bring it out. It costs $40,000 to spread for 12 seconds. Yeah, he's the heavy purchase too. Makes sense. Just got blocked right out of that.
I'll show you what I can do.
You can go with any party you want. I went with Aerith and Red 13 because I wanted to. Barrett's probably a better choice in this fight. Aerial enemies. But, which is nice, and I'll show you in a second here too. You kind of just can get caught also like this. We're gonna see it right here. I'm gonna come. See, I was smart. And I said this before. I think some people said they had problems with this fight, or so it's kind of hard. But you know, I big brained it. I big brained it, and I was like, you know what? I know in the original he's kind of weak to poison, right? And you could poison him, and they do that. They do in speedrunning, right? They poison this fight. Like, you know, cast bio. Yo, and that worked out great because that poison lasts forever on that enemy. And also, hold up, let me back up just a bit here too. You can see it. Even though gonna have him right after this. You can see it's gonna be like half a second. Right there. So you can see Barrett's actually firing at the enemy. He's not in the party, but he's actually still firing at the enemy. He doesn't do any damage. There's no damage numbers that show up, but it's a nice little touch. Like, they're not, Tifa and Barrett aren't just sitting back and doing nothing, right? That'd be kind of dumb, but it's a nice little touch that they still attacking. And I think if the enemy gets close enough to Tifa, which I don't think really happens, she'd probably hit the enemy too. So. But yeah, that poison lasts the whole fight. That's how you beat this fight. Poison. Is it poison? Yes, you can see the little red poison marker underneath it. If you look really carefully underneath the stagger bar right there. It's not all green. You're right. It's not glowing green.
Sorry.
See if you're doing finger guns. Yes. Here's Planetary Roar, which I think was awesome looking. But you know, Cloud. We'll watch it really quick. Cloud's like, you know what? No, this is my game, and he has to jump in the middle of this. Cloud's a little punk. Hold on, let me scroll a little bit here. One more scroll. Right before this. Cloud's like, no, here he comes. He's like, no, I gotta be part of it too. Look at me. The triple tech now. Jumps in the camera.
What now?
That's below us.
And that does suck you in, by the way. It's not just like static. Pulls you toward it. And then we get to see Red 13's Limit Break. I did Blood Fang because Howl Moon didn't sound like useful right there. Like, no, I want some Blood Fang.
Come to my face.
You're up. Hang back.
But yeah, this fight was cool.
Let's get this over with.
Very reminiscent of its original. Cinematic flare. I like the cinematic flare.
It's your turn.
The cast spell comment here again.
Bang nor claw.
To get out of that. No, Tifa's getting sucked in. I didn't realize Tifa gets sucked all the way in, too. I wonder if they could actually take damage. I'm sure they could.
Keep it together.
It puts him in Berserk. Yeah, that one actually fills up his vengeance mode, which is what it does if you read the description for it. So if you want to use the vengeance mode, like, power it up, that's what you do for that. Which makes more sense. I think the poison did a lot of the work for that fight.
Oh, no, you don't.
And we're done here. This little cutscene with the dolphin. Yeah, good dolphin boy. That was cool. But that's all we got to do. So if you missed it yesterday, I did a little playthrough for you again here. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you follow the links in chat, and if you're watching this on YouTube later, you can follow the links in below for the developer interview with Naoki Hamaguchi, who's amazing. We learned a lot of new information in that demo. We learned a lot of new information in that dev interview. He's a really cool person. It was a fantastic interview, and I cannot thank him enough for his time. So please go read that if you haven't. And but also, if you just want a written, hands-on impressions that I did, also that's there on the site too, RPGFan.com. But I hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna stop here, and we'll continue our Final Fantasy VII Echo S mod, which is something else you gotta check out too.